Hey everyone, Derek here coming at you with another PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds mobile video. Today I want to talk about my first game, and I played this last night on the iPhone 10, and it was a solo match. I previously mentioned that I wanted to broadcast my first game or at least put it up on YouTube, but I realized that there's a bit of a logistical challenge between using the interface, which I'm not very familiar with, which is a lot different than the desktop version, and also letting you guys see what I'm doing. So just because the camera is sitting right above me. So I'm going to see how that goes. I'm going to look into screen capture, and I'm also going to probably just hold off on that first video and instead do a couple tutorials and stuff, because I realized that it actually does play pretty well, and I actually did pretty well. So this is from my first game. I captured a series of screenshots just to show you what I was doing, what I was thinking. From these, you can hopefully get an idea of what the game looks like. So this is being played on the iPhone 10 with high graphical presets, and I found it to be pretty smooth as long as your expectations are reasonable. So again, there's no 1080 Ti or Titan XP in here. It's a phone, but the fact that it's running the full map, the full game, is pretty sweet. So I dropped pretty rural just to talk you through my game and just give you some insight into what I was thinking through my first game. So I dropped pretty rural, and I decided to play the zone pretty conservatively. I didn't want to drop in like military or something and then just have to like kill a bunch of people right away and probably die. The controls are pretty intuitive. I'll probably make another video going into detail into how to actually manipulate this panel, because there's a bunch going on here. I love the fact that this is a very wide screen, so you've got a lot of dimension here, and the height isn't really that big of a deal because your field of view is so limited anyways, because you can't zoom out. But I love the fact that I can have my fingers over on either side, and I can manipulate those controls without blocking my field of view. So I really like that. Like I said, I started playing conservative. I had to kill 2 people right away. I got very lucky in getting an M16 super early, and that on burst is great. So one of the things I learned right away is that when you're engaging in a firefight, it's very similar to the desktop version. You don't want to stand still. You want to move around because it is very hard to hit people. There is a deal of aim assist. There's a bit of aim assist. It's by no means like an aimbot, but it definitely helps you out. And like I said, leave that on because everybody's using it. So, but when you're manipulating your controls, when you're moving around here using the joystick and you're also firing, you can hold down fire or you can tap it. And then you can also move side to side here, and that will actually track your target. So that's something that I found worked very well. So like I said, I had to kill a couple people right away, and then I started playing the zone. I started just rotating around the outside of the zone, and then just picking up people who were coming in later and stuff. So at this point, you can see this is I was in the red zone. Luckily, I didn't die. There were 57 people still alive. I'd killed 3 at this point, and we were outside Pachinki, I think, and you can take a look at the textures. This was again on high. I think it was on high graphic or ultra graphics, like ultra textured quality, but not ultra HD or whatever the highest one is. So I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, it's a lot blockier, obviously, than if you're playing on a desktop, but just the fact that the entire map is there and you're able to pretty much manipulate the game in the same way that you can do it on a desktop. You can throw grenades, you can use boosts, you can use med kits, all that is there. And I really like the auto loot. So basically the game, and I'll show this in another video with configuration options and stuff, but I have it set to the default, which is like it auto picks up recommended items. So you go into a house and there's an M16 and an AK and a shotgun and stuff on there. It'll prioritize what it thinks you need, and it'll pick up the ammo automatically. So if you have a shotgun and there's just a ton of 9mm everywhere, you're not going to pick that up automatically unless you also have a handgun that can use the 9mm, because otherwise you'd just be wasting bag space. So you can see here, like I said, I was playing the zone. I was back to the road. The zone was coming in at this point, and I picked up a couple people who were running into the zone at the end. I got very low here. I almost died. It's tricky to change weapons. So it's tricky in a firefight because you're using this stick to move around. You're using this stick or this side rather to move side to side, and then you're also tapping these guys to prone, to crouch, to jump, to try to get out of the way. So if you also have to reach down here to change your weapon or reach down here to reload, it's not the most intuitive. So that's where I was at that point. Like I said, I played the zone, and then I pretty much rotated as the zone came in. I rotated uphill. There were only 24 people alive. There were a bunch of people who were actually in a town that was off this way, and they engaged in this pretty ridiculous firefight. This is solo. I forgot if I said that already, but this is solo, so no teammates or anything. So everybody's for themselves. So you gotta watch every tree, every building and stuff. The buildings are definitely simplified from the desktop version. There's no glass to shoot through. Just because rendering Windows would probably be a pain in the butt and it'd be very intensive on the devices. But the houses are definitely interesting. Like I said, the layout is simplified, so there aren't as many bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff. They're more open, but there are still rooms, and it's definitely fun engaging in a firefight in a house, because you still have walls and stuff in the way, which is very different than Fortnite. So let's see what else I had here. So here I was crouching behind a tree. I think there was a guy over behind this tree, if I remember right. We were down to 9 people at this point, and I was very surprised that I was top 10 on the first game. And that's sometimes how it happens. Only 5 people killed though, so like I said, I wasn't playing very aggressive. The mini-map is pretty sweet to use. You can sprint, and while you're locked sprinting, I'll show that again, when we have more time, but you can also view the mini-map while you're running, so if you want to multitask, and I know this map pretty well, having played this map a lot, but if you're not familiar with it, there are a lot of there are a lot of towns and roads and tunnels and all this stuff that it's nice to be able to access that map while you're moving, because if you're just standing still, you're asking to get shot. Like I said here, so I was behind a tree. I threw a smoke grenade. So like I said, there was a guy out that way, and I wanted to, you can see here that the zone was coming in, and I wanted to rotate this way. So I wanted to rotate into the zone and pick off that guy who I knew was behind that tree too. So it's showing you how a smoke grenade rendered. I don't know how it renders on another screen, because I didn't see, on that guy's screen, because I didn't see anybody else throw smoke in this match. But it looked pretty good on mine. It looked pretty smooth actually, and same with the zone too. The blue looked pretty neat. And it was very easy to see where it was. So here you go. It was restricting play area. Just want to show you another. You get these like notifications that pop up here when they're restricting. You can also see here, 9 seconds, and it tells you if you're safe or not. So I said, it's incredible how they fit all this. I'm normally playing on a 24-inch display, and there are some people who play bigger and smaller, but it's versus whatever 5 point whatever inches, 5.8 I think. So it's incredible that they fit all this content onto this tiny screen and still make it very accessible. So it was just a smoke grenade. I killed the guy who was behind there because he started running this way, and this is where I just made my mistake. And you can see there were only 2 alive, so it was down to 1 other person. He was down behind that tree, I believe. But he had the zone. He knew I had to come in. I didn't have any cover either way. So my mistake was I just waited too long, which was just, stupid, but it is what it is. And I'll take a second anytime on my first game for the mobile version. So that's what happened. The zone got me. I tried to run this way and to try to avoid him so I could try to stay out of his range, and what ended up happening was the zone just came in too quick, and I ended up trying to run like a 45 into the zone to again try to avoid getting shot by him or seen by him, because he knew where I was, and it just didn't work. So sometimes that's how it goes, but hey, I'll take it. So like I said, overall I had a really positive experience playing it on the phone. It does kill your battery, and the game also does take a while, and that's something I didn't really realize. You don't realize that when you're on a desktop and you've got a nice, comfortable keyboard and mouse and, setup and all that stuff. But when you're playing this on your phone, this game, granted, I lasted till the final circle, but this game was probably about 35 minutes long, I would say. So, and playing that long uninterrupted on a phone is definitely something that it's so cool that it's the full game. But I don't know. I kind of have to play more and see how I feel about that, because I don't know. I just feel like it's cool, but it also just felt drawn out at times, especially like running across the map and stuff, because the map is the same massive map that it is in the desktop version. Just crossing that and using vehicles and stuff, it's just, I don't know. I mean, I feel like on a smaller map with the mobile version, it'd be more fun because it'd be more engaging. It's very difficult because you can see it looks great for a mobile game and it played very smooth on the phone. But if you like I said, I knew the guy was behind this tree, but because I saw his blocky form moving a little bit, but try sniping somebody, it is very, very difficult, or even using a scope. I ended up sticking with just I pretty much no scoped it, because I think I had a red dot and I think I had a red dot on the M16, and it was not very intuitive to actually use that. So I'll see if I get more used to it. But because the screens are smaller, because the people are rendering not as smooth, I feel like just a smaller map would probably make more sense, just because while it's so cool that you're playing the same map that you play on desktop, it kind of just gets a little tedious on the phone, especially if you're not playing super aggressive and trying to go for a lot of kills. And even if you are, say you drop military and you wipe 10, 15 people out, eventually you're going to have to, unless it closes there, eventually you're going to have to cross the bridge, and you're going to have a bunch of running and driving and all that to get to where you have to go, which, like I said, on the mobile version is just a little tougher to do. So those are my thoughts after my first game. Definitely stay tuned to this channel. I'll be doing, like I said, I still want to definitely record a video or two of me playing and see how that goes, but I have to figure that out because I want it to be a good experience for you guys, and I don't want it to just look like junk. So, and I don't want my fingers in the way the whole time. And so at this point, I might just stick to tutorials, and I might do a video on explaining the overlay and what everything does, and because they give you a tutorial but you can't play it, so you kind of just have to jump right in, and that's not the easiest thing either. So I said I'm very familiar with the desktop version, so and I feel pretty confident at playing it here too. So I'll probably play a few more games, and then I'll put out a video or two about how you can start playing, what sorts of strategies you want to use, where you might want to drop if you're new and you don't want to just get owned right away, and stuff like that. So if you enjoy content on PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and look for Fortnite too. I'm not biased against Fortnite. I haven't played it much, but I also downloaded it on the phone. So we'll be going into that too. So definitely subscribe if you enjoy this sort of mobile gaming, and I hope to see you in a future video soon. See ya.